dead serious about this. And I know that I was talking to the flight attendant about this on American. I was telling her I was going to do this, and she finally told me to sit down. She had to prepare service. She goes, I got to get the card out. And I said, well, listen, I had a great flight attendant today on American, real dark lady. I'm like, I paid $40 for a more space seat. She goes, well, we don't have any. So so I'm in the last seat of the plane with her. So she goes, you might get a refund. She goes, I'll send you some free miles. I go, ugh. She goes, you think you're having a bad day? She goes, I wasn't even supposed to be on this flight. She goes, the flight attendant her husband killed herself. They've been married 2 years, and he killed himself in his ex-wife's garage. And I'm like, okay, do we have the cheese plate? What are the snacks? Okay. I said to her, we started talking. She goes, the other day we took off, we hit wind shear when we took off. She goes, you hit wind shear, the whole plane goes to the side. She goes, there was a scream. She goes, but she used these words. She goes, there was a blood-curdling scream as the plane took off. She goes, we got about maybe 3,000 feet up, and it just, and she goes, the pilot got on right away and was like, hey, it's wind shear. We're going to be okay. And I said to her, I go, you ever just fucking they call it ferrying the plane when nobody's on? I'm like, you ever just go up to first class when you got nobody on the plane? She smiled. She goes, yes. Just one time we all got to sit in first class. One time we had 4 people on this plane, and we all got to go right into the front and sit in first class. And I was like, when was that? She goes, 4 days after 9/11. With a big smile on her face. The thing about flight attendants is they've made peace with death because it's a very unnatural job to just work 30,000 feet in the sky. All of those flight attendants, they've seen death. They all do drugs. They have these stopovers. They all get hammered, and all the pilots do drugs. It's a horrible job. We don't pay those people. And it's a living hell. They live in an absolute hell, and they have to get on every day and go, hi, welcome. Is everyone happy we're going to Phoenix? Is everyone excited we're going to Phoenix? Southwest can dress it up all they want, and they can have the people come out and try to do stand-up, and the pilots try to be funny, and the flight attendants try to be funny, but I know what it really is. I know it's a bunch of people who've made peace with death. That's who works. They're saying Finland is the happiest country in the world. Can you believe this? Finland, where children don't get shot, is the happiest country. Or maybe they do. I don't think they do. But the Finnish are the happiest people in the world, happier than the United States of America. This is what they're saying. This is the New York Times. It has been ranked the happiest nation on earth for 6 consecutive years. But in this article, they talk to the individual Finns who are, I don't know, they're not exuberant. They're satisfied. They're like relaxed. They go, yeah, we're cool. And I read this article. We're going to bring up some interesting parts of it. I don't know. Again, I'm not shocked that America's doesn't rank because, again, I've talked about the idea that very few people seem happy in America. Even happiness in America seems to be a frenetic kind of manic behavior that's not like a Nordic satisfied and relaxed person. It's like a manic junkie whose dealer has just called them back. That is happiness in America. It's like somebody very, very excited to tell you how good something's going for them. But it's not like that calm, cool, collected, deep satisfaction that maybe the Finnish have. So here in the article, on March 20th, the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network released its annual World Happiness Report. What a interesting thing, which rates well-being in countries around the world. For the 6th year in a row, Finland was ranked at the very top. They keep winning. They always win. But when they interview them individually, they go, I wouldn't say that I consider us very happy, said Nina Hansen, 58, a high school English teacher from a mid-sized city on Finland's west coast. I'm a little suspicious of that word, actually, which I am too, Nina. They spoke to about a dozen Finns, a Zimbabwean immigrant, a folk metal violinist, a former Olympian, and a retired dairy farmer about what supposedly makes Finland so happy. Our subjects ranged in age from 13 to 88 and represented a variety of genders, sexual orientations, ethnic backgrounds, and professions to get a full picture of how happy Finnish people are. They came from Kola, as well as the capital Helsinki, Turku, a city on the southwestern coast, and 3 villages in southern, eastern, and western Finland. And I read the article, and what it comes down to is they like nature, they like welfare, and they're satisfied with very little, which is good. But that's how you get happy, right? They enjoy nature. They actually enjoy it. Like Americans don't really enjoy nature unless we're destroying it or we're using it for our own gain. Nature in America, for the most part, has kind of been ruined. Like we do have Yellowstone. We have some beautiful national parks. But most nature is just, it's hanging on by a thread. The fires are always burning down. There's droughts everywhere. The lakes aren't at a high level. So nature in America takes a back seat. There are people that go out and do things in nature, but a lot of times that's murder or rape. I mean, it's not always, there's people that go out and don't kill in the natural environment, but it's not our main thing. Like our main thing is not the nature. Like we have some pretty nature, but our main thing is like the cities, the vibe, the clubs, the drugs, the money, the cars, and in Finland, they like a tree. Like they like seeing green grass. We take nature and put it on the outside. Like we take fake moss and put it on the outside of buildings, or we take trees and rip them out of the ground and put them inside of a hotel lobby. We dominate nature, which I think is good. Like we don't let nature, we're not going to be nature's bitch, Like there's a lake in Austin called Lake Travis, which is heinous. It's a heinous lake. It's a man-made lake, and it looks like it's in a crater, like an asteroid hit the Earth, and there's a crater. And it's blue because it's limestone on the bottom. It gives it that nice color. And they buy water from Lake Mead, and they buy water from Colorado, and they direct it via the dam into this Lake Travis, which is a heinous lake, kind of. I mean, when you look at it, and the drought has made the lake so that the lake is not even full. It's kind of like, it's like the levels of the lake aren't good. So people go out and they go on boats and they get hammered and they drink. And there's a place called Hippie Hollow where they get naked and everybody's like screaming and yelling. And, this is a fun summer activity, but it's not really about the lake, right? Like it's just about like we've created this big slip and slide for adults to just, to take part in. Like it's about us. It's not about the lake. We don't really give a shit about the lake. We care about our ability to use the lake to get drunk, to use drugs, to drive fast on boats and have fun water sports. But that's what America views. This is Francis Ellis, used to be from Barstool Sports before he made fun of the dead. And now where are you? If people like you and want more of your thing, where can they find it?
Yeah.
If someone goes, my sister was just murdered and I want you to get her, where can they get you? Where can they hire you to do a roast of the dead?
On my podcast.
Lovely.
It's called Oops the Podcast.
Oops the Podcast.
With Giulio Gallerati.
Harkening back to.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oops the Podcast. And social media wise, if they want to find you.
Francis Ellis, you'll find me on
You'll
Instagram,
find them.
Twitter.
Take it away. This song's amazing.
Thanks, Tim. Cop pulled me over and asked why I was speeding. I said I'm headed to the mountain for a big day of skiing. He said I figured it was that from the skis on your rack, and then we both kind of chuckled as he handed me back my license registration. Told me try to slow down, we've got a lot of people speeding through the stretch of our town. I promised that I would, I said I understood, and I always try my best to drive the way that I should. He said goodbye, enjoy the slopes, and I drove off down the road. But when I got around the bend, I put the pedal to the floor. And when I finally arrived, I was greeted by a sight that made me shiver and quiver and shake with fright. 'Cause the line at the chairlift was 50 people long. By the time I took my first run, all the powder was gone. All because some local cop had to flex on me. I'm just another victim of brutality. Brutality. It can happen to you if it happened to me. I understand the nuances of brutality. Winter is a time of darkness, when the sun goes down early and everyone is heartless. The days are short and the nights are long, and you'll wake up with the feeling that it's all going wrong. When you feel like you're stuck in a hole, and your brain starts to tell you it can't take anymore, and you no longer care to learn what lies around the bend. So you start to think of ways to bring your life to an end. Don't. Instead, take a trip to Tulum. Find a beach in Turks and Caicos. Snorkel a lagoon. Find that good weed in Jamaica. Buy a house in Southampton, Tim. Get that going. Put your worries on the shelf. The purpose of MLK Weekend is to utilize your wealth. Spend it on yourself. There's no price on mental health. Don't kill yourself. A-L-L-Y, I'm a motherfucking ally. Ally, I know just what you're going through, and I feel it too. And I'm here for you, online all the time. Every day around the world, a woman gets robbed. She makes 30% less for the same exact job. She endures the horny glances, the delusional advances. Guys like, hi, my name is Francis from the toxic male mob. But the time has now come to bring the wage gap to an end. Time to rip down these structures that were only built for men. Time to take a wrecking ball to the ancient patriarchy. Say your boss sent you a dick pic at the holiday party. A-L-L-Y, I'm a motherfucking ally. Ally, I know just what you're going through, and I feel it too. And I'm here for you, online all the time. L-G-B-T-Q, she, her, he, him, they, their. Animals are friends, not food. Jada Pinkett's lack of hair, and me to save Ukraine. Put a stop to Asian hatred, microplastics, overfishing, bloggers who joke about missing women, manspreading on public transit, Leah Thomas, UPenn swimming, NAACP, border family separations, Joe Rogan's misinformation, spreading fears of vaccination, cultural appropriation, Louis C.K.'s masturbation, me, look at me, I'm so full of empathy, I'm on the right side of history, just like and share my tweets like A-L-L-I, I'm a motherfucking ally, I know just what you're going through, and I feel it too, and I'm here for you, online all the time. Thank you.
Francis Ellis, everybody. We love that. Thank you so much. Thank you for changing your life. Thank you for changing your life and realizing that there's a lot of good that can be done.
Yes.
There's a lot of good that can be done, and you're doing it.
I'm trying, man. Yeah, I didn't have a choice.
No, you're trying, and that's important.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Go find this guy on social media. Go listen to his podcast. Francis Ellis, thank you so much, brother.
See you guys.
Speaking of wars, the military is now doing this thing that it's done many times before. Recruitment in the military is off. Nobody wants to join the military right now because everybody has kind of sniffed out what's going on. Nobody really believes anything that the government says about why the military does anything it does. So what tends to happen is when you have this crisis, you basically have a ton of young people now that go, I'll do other things. I'll get into crypto. I'll figure it out. I'll build a YouTube channel. I don't know. But nobody wants to be in the military anymore. So the military is now claiming that it is woke, that it's too woke. This is what the response is. That's why nobody wants to join. It's not because we've seen Afghanistan and Iraq and all of these things and everybody is fed up. It's because the military apparently is too woke, meaning that when you join it, I don't know what happens. They cut your dick off or... So the Army missed its recruiting goal by about 15,000 new soldiers in 2022, coming up about 25% short of its goal at a time when each of the services was struggling to meet their benchmarks. Military officials worry that all of the branches have had to reach deep into their pools of delayed entry applicants, which we know who that is, right? It's, these are the people that really don't need to be in it. They don't add much. These are the people who we go, yeah, we'll let you in depending on how bad things get. But for now, go home. Like if you show up to the recruitment with your own battle plan drawn out and it involves your own town, they go, you go back home, keep doing stuff in the yard, do some sit-ups and push-ups in the yard, and we'll get you back when we need it. So the delayed entry applicants are like cops that I guess have been thrown out of the police force for shooting black people and, just the people that show up and you don't want to take them right away. You go, you guys just, maybe they have medical things, I have seizures, you go, whatever. So now we're going to have to start using them. Military recruiters have leaned on tried and true factors to explain the challenges, including low unemployment and a dearth of applicants up to physical, educational, and behavioral standards. Because remember, to join our military, you have to be a brilliant, good person who's never had any behavioral problems. But the truth is, I love this article, and this is from Military Times, because I get it. They're trying to, this is okay. But the truth is, no one keeps detailed data on what's stopping America's youth from signing up. Yeah. I think people have, it's called 19 fake wars. Experts and senior military leaders point to the perennial factors of competition from the private sector and a dwindling number of young Americans, both qualified and interested in military service. But what they don't have too much information on is why the propensity is going down and whether the country is undergoing an ideological shift towards military service. One possibility, this is Senator Tommy Tuberville, a Republican from Alabama. Tommy Tuberville has figured it out. The military is too woke. And apparently, people that want to go die in foreign countries don't want to be woke. And they're afraid that if they join the military, instead of being immediately sent to their death, they'll be made to read literature about trans people. I don't know. So Tommy Tuberville says the military is too woke. For example, the Republican from Alabama, I believe, maybe Alaska, I think it's Alabama, for example, is among a group of Republican senators who have repeatedly blamed recruiting problems on the Biden administration for trying to build a woke army. The director of the National Defense at the Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank, recently opined that wokeness is the, quote, chief worry of grizzled American veterans today. Is that true? Could that... Could that possibly be true? Listen to the word. Wokeness is the, quote, chief worry of grizzled American veterans today. How many people get back from these wars and kill themselves because they don't have, like mental health care? They have suffering from PTSD. They can't be employed because they try to get a job as a security guard at McDonald's, but they're trained in the military. So no matter what happens, they start being overly aggressive, like grabbing people. And they're like, whoa, calm down. But their chief problem, suicide, not it. Drug and alcohol abuse, not it. The chief problem, if you are a grizzled American veteran, I love the word grizzled. Grizzled American veterans, meaning people who've seen and done things, it's like, that haunt them. Their main wokeness is the main problem. Quote, the largest threat they see by far to our current military is the weakening of its fabric by radical, progressive, or woke policies being imposed, not by a rising generation of slackers, but by the very leaders charged with ensuring their readiness. Wokeness in the military is being imposed by elected and appointed leaders in the White. And I don't even, by the way, what is the wokeness in, like, does it say anything about what the wokeness is? My new business venture, which kind of is upsetting me. Many people know that I'm a comedian. We've kind of established that already. But what people don't know is that's not my real passion. My real passion has always been jewelry. And I've seen the look on someone's face when you give them something that is special and unique. And to me, what that is a perfectly set stone. Perfectly set stone. It could be topaz, could be one of the other ones. And jewelry has been my passion. Now, a lot of people are like, they're not. We have a mail order jewelry business called Jewels by podcaster Tim Dillon. A lot of people have given us a lot of money and are now getting angry at us because the jewels haven't showed up at their home for them to sell. Now, this is the type of amateur bullshit that I expect from some of these people. This is amateur hour. Okay? Number one, you don't need the physical jewels to sell. You can get out there and you're selling a lifestyle. You're selling an idea. You're selling an identity. So you're going to get the jewels. They're coming. But I fear for many of you because the complaints are so unnecessary. And I just feel like a lot of you aren't taking it seriously. You have one job when you sell Jewels by podcaster Tim Dillon. You have to convince people that they are not happy because they don't have the right jewelry. And you also have to convince them that they need to sell jewelry for me and you and this whole I'm trying to start a company here, and a lot of people don't take me seriously. I'm trying to start a goddamn company, an operation. And I just feel like a lot of you are ungrateful because many of you have no idea how to be an entrepreneur. And I am a businessman. That's what I've been since I'm a little baby boy. I've been a business boy forever in my whole life. All of my existence has been business. Crunching numbers, chopping the onions, making it work, fitting a square peg into a round whatever. The point is, I don't need your fucking ungrateful mouth. Oh, the kit isn't here. The jewel kit's not here. Improvise, you stupid bitch. Figure it out. It's going to get there. It's on its fucking way. You're going to get it. Also, we're coming up with the sales strategy because I realize that many of you need much more help than I had anticipated, which is okay. I want to give you that help. But many of you are not salespeople. You're not closers. I can hear it in your voices. I can hear it in your emails that are rage filled. When you send me an email and you're like, I spent all this money. I haven't been given any guidance or any help. I don't even have the jewels. Where are the jewels? I'm telling everyone I'm selling jewelry for you and I can't even do it. You know, all I hear is failure. And I don't know, is that who you are? Is that who you want to be? That's not who I want to be. That's not what I am. So we're doing a seminar in an Arizona Hilton or Marriott. We're going to see. And it's going to be 3 days. It's going to be a 3-day intensive sales training seminar. We're going to train you on the product. You got to get trained on the product. Then you got to get trained on the strategy. And then once you have the product and the strategy, you're good to fucking go. Okay? Product plus the strategy, sales strategy. Okay? Now I'm going to show you. This is an example. And again, you're not going to be at the level I'm at for a very long time, maybe never. But if you listen to me, I've invited Ben to lunch. Ben is someone I have not seen in a very long time. I've invited him to lunch by messaging him on Facebook. We do a lot of our ads on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Stay away from Twitter. Stay away from Instagram. Stay away from, God forbid, TikTok. Stay on Facebook. What I like about Facebook is that Zuckerberg, they're not trying to verify everything on there. They're just letting it fly, which I think is very important for a small business that you're starting. So I messaged Ben and I want to get lunch with him. Now I don't bring up Jules by podcaster Tim Dillon in the message. I just reconnect with him authentically. And he agrees to have lunch with me at the local diner. Now we've done some of our bullshitting, and now it's the time when I'm going to pounce. The word is pounce, like a puma would, like a big cat. Have you ever seen a big cat fuck something up with his paw? Mm-hmm. That's what we're doing, but we're helping people. Do you understand that? I'm helping him, but because he is so lost, I need to paw him like a large cat would to help him. Now, so this is the time when I'm going to do it. This lunch has been very good. I've enjoyed it.
It was great.
Yeah, it's very
so good.
It's very good. I like rye bread.
Me too. It's wonderful. So nice to see you. I haven't seen you since high school.
How's things?
It's pretty good. You know, things could be better though. Not gonna lie.
Well, let me tell you a story. Do you want to hear a story? You have time for a story?
I'd love to hear one. I have nothing to do.
When I was a young child, I became obsessed with jewelry. I would steal it, I would wear it, and I would sell it. Mm-hmm. And even though looking back on that now, that seems immoral, what it did was give me a real understanding of the market for jewels. I have an opportunity for you. I have a company right now that I haven't told anybody about because I'm still trying to decide who's worthy about knowing about it. It's called Jules by podcaster Tim Dillon. Now, I see your face and you're surprised and you're shocked. And I think maybe you feel a little lucky. You seem to feel a little lucky. You're not wrong to be lucky. What I want you to do is I want you to go into your community. I want you to go to your family, your friends, people who trust you, people who you've built rapport with over your entire life, and sell them jewelry that I have provided for you to sell them. I get my jewelry from the best jeweler. I won't tell you where.
Okay.
But have you seen the movie Uncut Gems?
Yeah.
Him. There's nothing like the look on someone's face when you marry them to a perfectly set stone. What a fun world we're living in. If somebody came to you 3 years ago and said, Gary Busey will be president and people will be attacking each other in the street with Big Macs, they would have been so close to where we are. Like they would have been a little one dimension off where we are. Yeah. We've got Trump and we've got milkshakes. And now people are debating, do the milkshakes have cement in them? Yeah. Do they have dried cement
like
in
acid burning off people's faces?
Yes. Have the milk? Of course, in this fat country, it's a dessert-themed revolution. You know? The anti-fascists are chucking brownies at the Nazis. That's how you know a lot of this is bullshit. Yeah. They don't even believe. If they're Nazis, I'm going to get in trouble for this. But if they're Nazis, kill them. Right. You don't think they're Nazis. Yeah. You're throwing milkshakes. There's never in history did throwing a milkshake do anything. Right. You don't believe they're Nazis. Yeah. That's number one. I don't believe anybody truly believes this gay Asian journalist who wrote some articles that people didn't like is a Nazi. All of these people think they're in a movie, but what they think this guy, because to treat him like that, to beat the shit out of him in the middle of the street, they have to believe the guy's Adolf Hitler. Yeah. They have to really believe, or he's going to help the next Adolf Hitler. Like, they fancy themselves as characters in a movie, but what they don't realize is, like, everyone in the movie can't be the villain. Like, the villain can't be every single everyone in Narnia was not the White Witch. Right. It wasn't the way that it worked. Like, there's a villain and people around that villain. Yeah. But not every human being you don't like is the symbol of ultimate evil. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Had you seen anything about this? Like, on Twitter. There's a lot of people like defending it.
Yeah. Did this Andy Nago guy?
Yeah, Andy
this
Nago.
Asian Nazi.
Mullen was funny. Nick Mullen was like, I don't know if I can say his last name because it is. You're like, what?
I know. I just saw that he was getting attacked and thrown shit at, and
all of these people, their first tweet is like, Andy is a racist, anti-Muslim, blah, blah, blah. And then their second tweet is like, and I abhor violence. I will say that I abhor violence. I would never encourage violence. But for my first tweet in this thread, I would like to point out everything wrong with this man who's bleeding on the floor. Let's just let that out right now. Here are my problems with the victim. Can you imagine any other situation?
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A rape victim. Well, let me tell you about Tasha. She was a little stupid. She would go home with these boys late at night. She was no Jackie Kennedy. Now I abhor rape. Do not support rape. Do not like rape.
Yes, exactly.
But I will tell you this. Tasha, man, would she just get in a fucking car with anybody? That whore had it coming. If anyone had it coming, it was her. But tweet number 2. Listen, consent is real, and I abhor and I disavow any rape. But let me just get 4 or 5 things out that I feel about Tasha.
What does this guy do? Who is he? He's a gay Asian guy, and he's like a Nazi?
No, he's one of these guys that he writes for Quilla. I looked into some of the things that he did. Listen, the guy is allowed to be wrong.
Right.
He's allowed to write things you don't like.
Yeah.
I don't understand at what point a switch was flipped in people's head where they were like, I can no longer exist on the same planet with a human being who is wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't, and listen, I haven't read all of his articles. Supposedly, he made a list of journalists and gave it to Adam Waffen. Adam Waffen's like a neo-Nazi group in Europe.
Okay.
So they're all like, well, this is justified because he's endangering us, blah, blah, blah. I did not look into that. I do not have that. Do not send me information on that. I don't care. Please. Don't send me like a fuck. No, not actually.
Right.
Actually.
Right.
You know, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I'm not for people getting attacked and brutalized in the street that you don't like or that you disagree with. This does not. Where do you think this leads? Do these people think that conservatives eventually don't just bring guns to these rallies? That's the next step?
Yeah.
Is more violence. Right now, it's not that funny because people are getting hurt, but it's kind of funny because it's milkshake.
No, it's still funny.
But the next step, which would be Syria, isn't funny. Like, there's no one tweeting in Syria about the gas attacks and how funny they are.
Right.
You know? Like, there's no blue checks in Syria being like, LOL, like being deeply ironic about watching their kids, you know, take some gas to the face from fucking whoever's doing that.
Yeah. Using it as an opportunity to get a job on SNL.
They're less, humor is less of a way to combat things in Venezuela right now. But in America, it doesn't really affect any of us. Like, if it goes beyond this to where it's full scale, real issues, I think the government just comes in and shuts down the party.
Yeah.
Which I think is what will happen anyway.
Yeah.
And my little conspiracy mind goes off and goes, there's probably FBI agents in the alt-right and in Antifa and in any serious anti-government movement in the last 50 years has had FBI people from COINTELPRO. Every single one has had FBI agents that were stirring the pot, that were, basically trying to foment this type of these type of events. I'm not saying this is what happened here, but what it does is it discredits any of these movements. I mean, the Black Panthers, whatever they are, you bring in a few guys from the feds who are like, it's not enough. We got to do more.
Right.
We got to go 100, and then you start losing the country. People are like, well, wait a minute. This seems a bit odd.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's bananas discussing this with people because you're like, okay, riddle me this. Go attack, and again, not saying to do this, but wouldn't it make more sense to attack ICE?
Right. Yeah,
right?
exactly. They think every one of these journalists they throw a milkshake at, like a kid gets released from a cage.
These are also the people that supposedly care about the poor, and these kids in the camps bring the milkshakes to the kids. I bet the kids would like a milkshake. If I was I'm not even in a cage, and I would like a milkshake. I can't imagine if I was in a cage, which I'm against, don't start with me, and somebody handed me a milkshake through the bars,
right.
I would be pretty happy that you didn't waste a milkshake on some fucking guy that wrote an article you didn't fucking like. You're throwing away perfectly good food you could give to the poor of Portland.
Yeah.
Or some white people in a failed band, or who's ever really struggling over there in Portland.
Yeah.
But so these again are like all these, you start to realize that some people just want some type of civil war.
Mm-hmm.
But very influential. If you look at the WrestleMania Fan Festival, what we do with Skankfest, like that was like one of the best memories. The WrestleMania Fan Festival, you show up, and it's not just fucking like autographs. They have a lot of interactive shit. You know what I'm saying? You're like, you're meeting the wrestlers, you do meet and greets and shit, but they're like doing fucking other things. It's like shows happening.
You know what's hilarious? Stan Hope goes on Rogan and brings up how cool Skankfest is.
This is ridiculous.
And then Rogan just shuts it down immediately and goes, "You should do your own fest."
Stan Hope's and he's trying to like have a nice pitch. It's a nice pitch. He's like, I did this festival. It's just the greatest thing ever. And Rogan's like, he was like, oh yeah. He's like, that's really probably because the comedy scene down in Houston's great. It's like, there's nothing to do with the comedy scene in fucking Houston.
It's nothing.
We booked 3 comics from Houston. We brought the fucking greatest comics from the world, mostly from New York City, to Houston, and fucking did the most unique, fun, interactive, craziest comedy festival ever.
Yeah.
But Doug Stanhope should just steal the idea.
Yeah.
He should just take it.
Joe's like, you should do your own now.
The same guy who assaulted Carlos Mencia for stealing a shitty Ari Shaffir joke. The shittiest Ari Shaffir joke that's ever been fucking written.
Well, he stole more than that.
I know. He stole a lot. He stole a lot.
Right.
But,
that was a straw that
No,
broke.
but I'm kidding. Rogan's great.
No. We love him. But, I mean, it is funny that he was just like,
steal it.
do your own. Well, it's not steal it. He just said, do your own fest.
I think he's a little disconnected from what Skankfest is. I think he thinks like that's what Bert's doing.
Hope, by the way, I hope he's disconnected. He's got, he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I hope he's disconnected from it.
Yeah, but I mean, like Bert, Bert's doing his own festival. It's not the same thing though.
Right.
It's not. There's nothing like Skankfest. You got to go and see it and know what it is in order to fucking.
And then what would you say the difference with Skankfest is? Is it people get raped?
It's a party. Well, yeah.
Right.
I mean, they don't tell.
Yeah. It's a party.
Dude,
here's the thing with
all
Skankfest.
things, the fucking whatever they call it. The Netflix is a joke festival.
Here's what I will say about Skankfest. It is an immersive experience.
Yeah.
Meaning that it is 3 days. It involves not only going to see stand up, but you have like other events that comedians go to and will be at, and you can like mix with. You can meet
live
comics.
podcasters fighting, pro wrestling. There's fucking there's mechanical bulls and fucking games and beer pong tournaments, and it's stupid, dude.
It's a fun thing.
It's a fun thing.
It's a Woodstock for people that like podcasts.
And it's the best podcast fans in the world, best comedy fans of the world. They
love comedy.
They love
every time I've done a show at Skankfest, it's always been great. And every time we've done a live podcast at Skankfest, it's always been great.
It's gonna be stupid. We're gonna do Bastard Radio.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I'm forcing you.
It'll be fun. No, I'm doing it. I told you I would do it.
I know. I'm excited.
Absolutely, we'll do it.
Me and the great Nick Mullen. I think we're gonna do a state of the industry address as Bastard Radio.
Yeah.
So the biggest topics from the year we're gonna break down.
I just want to cover, please. If we do a state of the industry address, we got to carve out
Gringo Poppy.
Who does what? I want to do LA. I want to do the LA.
I said we just...
No. I want to do the state of the LA podcast scene.
Oh, yeah.
As part of the state of the industry address at Skankfest.
Yeah.
You and Nick can do everything else.
Yeah.
Everything else.
That's yours. You cover
whatever.
You
New
cover
York.
LA.
You guys cover all of New York, television and film, every podcast in the world, other than. And you could also comment on the state of the LA podcast scene, of course.
Oh, of course.
But I would like to.
You need to lead it.
My expertise. I just want to do the state of the LA podcast scene, the great enduring scene that will never die.
Can we?
And it'll be called the LA podcast scene, the scene that will never die, and it will have the photos of the people who are currently in prison.
Tim, can we play word association LA comic scene?
Sure.
All right, ready? You got to just fire it off. Don't be a pussy. Whitney Cummings.
Drugs.
Bobby Lee.
Korean. I mean, it's the first thing that comes to mind.
Brian Callen.
Rough year.
Gringo Poppy.
kind of brilliant, kind of brilliantly funny in a way that no comedy special has ever been, because it's mysterious in a way, because you're looking at it and you're going like, there's a lot of choices made and you don't know why those choices were made.
Of course.
Yeah.
The Comedy Store.
Fine.